All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode one of FBGM Sports, a place where we're going to talk all things football. We'll dive into our own fantasy football league, FBGM. We'll break down the week-to-week NFL action, and then we'll also maybe sprinkle in some college football here and there. And with that being said, I'm Ryan Downey, Vice Commissioner and owner of 2023 FBGM champion Detroit Dunkin' Donuts. With me is our Commissioner Mickey, so I'll let him introduce himself, give us a little more background in the league, and then what made him start this league as we go on to year 10 now.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. My name is Mickey Wilkowiak here, manager of the Salty Spittoon, the 2020 champs, undefeated season. And going into that year, it was great. But what really makes this league great is the members that came together back in 2015 when I put this league together, which started with a Instagram post, which generated a couple of comments, and we put together an 8-man league, PPR scoring. And since then, we still have 6 out of 8 original members. We picked up both Riley Francis and Jay Cannon very early on in the process, and those have seemed to be great 2 additions to our league. And with that, we've now coming on year 10 in the FBGM league.
Crazy.
And it's been nothing but great so far.
Yeah. Like you said, it's been nothing but great, and we want to give a little more background. I guess we're a Metro Detroit area league, so we're Detroit sports fans, Lions, Tigers, little Pistons as well, little casual Red Wings fans. I'm a big Michigan football fan myself, so yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great group, all Metro Detroit area, like Ryan said.
Yeah.
A lot of Grosse Pointe guys. We all grew up together, going to school together, playing sports together, so it was really easy for us to gel. And now that we've, kind of become adults in that sense, we're still all very close to this day, and this league has done a very good job of keeping us together over the years as well.
Right, I agree. Yeah, like you said, Little League baseball to youth football all the way up to high school and college for some of us. So we've known each other for a long time. But yeah, I guess we can dive into the league now. I guess the sad story of FBGM can't be talked about without talking about Alex Shaheen and all of his success we've had, even if we don't like to bring it up. But I feel like he's earned it.
Yeah. No, Alex Shaheen, truly, he's great at fantasy football. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
His team name is Luke Top, Liam Bottom. And at one point, you guys will see the trophy. His name's all over it, and he's had a lot of great playoff runs. He doesn't even necessarily dominate regular season, year in, year out. He really just turns it up in the playoffs, takes advantage of, other teams making mistakes, and, doesn't fail to capitalize on those. So,
no, exactly.
Just using last year, for example, he ends up making the championship, and who's he facing? The lowest scoring team in the league.
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable what Luke Shrebernick was able to accomplish last year, the manager of Finger Licking Good. And but for that to be a championship matchup, it's just crazy to see. You get a 4-time champ versus someone that's primarily sitting in the Sacco,
right?
Low scoring team, and he's sitting there in the championship game. That's lots of opportunities to win in this league, and Luke took them last year, but Alex made sure to capitalize that when he faced him in the championship.
That's for sure. Yeah, I guess I don't know if we've ever seen a team that scored that little make it even to the playoffs, let alone all the way to the championship, and then even have a chance in the championship for a little bit.
No, mathematically, I tried running the numbers at the time, and I don't even think it was possible because it's never been done.
Right.
It's never been done the way that went down, and Luke being able to do that was truly remarkable. Obviously, you have to throw in a ton of luck.
Right. And, so I guess it pays to be lucky sometimes. It's better to be lucky than good, like they say sometimes here and there. But
absolutely, you're talking about PPR scoring and giving up, on average less than 100 points week in, week out. So teams were really not bringing it against him in the regular season. He wasn't just, he didn't just sneak into the playoffs either. He was to clinch. It was crazy. So
I agree.
Alex actually ended up beating my team in the last week of the regular season to even get a chance.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you had the play-in, right? Yeah, winning in. That was crazy. Yeah.
Those situations are always tough, but it made us stronger not making the playoffs last year, and we're looking forward to this year.
Exactly, this year. Yeah. Like, how do you feel about this year? I know we got our draft weekend coming up that everyone's very excited for. Our golf scramble Sunday, and then our I guess Olympic style obstacle course for Monday. But the golf should be very fun. I know everyone's excited about that.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's really exciting time of the year for FBGM. We just completed last year's punishment, which was actually completed by 2 different people this year, as last year going into the Sacco, both Riley Francis, manager of King Riles, and Brady McCarron, manager of Nicki Minaj, were facing off in the Sacco, and they, as you know, came to an agreement to do the Sacco punishment together, despite the actual loser.
Right.
It was Brady McCarron who brought up a tied for the record of 3 Saccos. Him and Luke have 3 each, which is crazy in a total of 9 years, but that's a whole nother story for another episode.
Right.
But yeah, so they went to Travis Berger, was able to, accomplish that Travis Berger punishment, and it was a 24-hour, similar to the Waffle House Challenge we've seen other leagues do. But, we had a little bit of customization, both pancakes, burgers, some other items involved, and you were actually able to go there for a little bit.
It was good. I'll say they did good. They ordered 12 pancakes right out of the gate. I don't know, they made different pancakes. Riley got a lot of thick ones. Brady got a lot of thin ones. So Brady actually looked like he was feeling pretty good after the pancakes, but I will say Riley was struggling a little bit, so that also hindered in the fact that took them all 6 hours to get out of there, which I feel like is a good enough time for a good punishment, but also it didn't kill him for the rest of the day or the week or something. So it seemed like a fair and good punishment for them. A couple members of the league stopped by, so they got that camaraderie going. So felt like it all went well. Turned out successful. Check out the video if you haven't.
Absolutely. That's posted on the FBGM Instagram, as well as the TikTok as well. So tune into those. Give those pages a follow. That's a good way to keep up with all the stuff that we got going on.
Right.
And this was the first punishment that I was actually not able to attend. I was out of town. It was great to, be able to see everyone showing up. People were taking videos. A lot of people, showed up, tuned into the live feed. But as well as something that really impressed me was the games that they brought. They brought a bunch of board games. They prepared very intelligently for this event, and hats off to them. They made it a fun day out of it, and that's one of those tough ones. I'm not a big eater myself, so I don't know if I've been able to fare well in that punishment.
And Brady McCarron actually woke up at 5:40 in the morning and ran 6 miles with a 20-pound backpack to Travis, all the way to Travis, and then he still made it through. So impressive. I don't know how he does what he does, but he's a different breed, to say the least.
Another thing that can only be learned, over time is, how crazy Brady McCarron can be and will be. So I'm excited for the viewers to be able to get to see that. But Brady's actually my partner this weekend for the golf outing. So the league is doing a first ever golf outing event. We all recently got into the sport, and we're breaking up into 4 teams of 2 for that event. And it's going to be played, locally at one of our local golf courses, St. Clair Shores. And very typical scramble. Two teams in the first tee time, 2 teams in the second. Lowest score wins. Couple of fun things that you can bet on through not actually bet on, but we're gonna have betting lines set for just kind of visual purposes for the viewers to see. And it's gonna be funny. There's gonna be a lot of videos taken during that. That'll be something that we're able to talk about in a later episode as well. So excited for that. And, rolling that right into our draft on Monday. This Labor Day, we're doing another draft at the Riley Francis household, which has been a home for our draft now for about, I want to say going on 6-7 years. I don't know the official one. But, we've been going there. He's got a pool in the backyard, a large backyard that we're able to run our obstacle course, different things like wiffle ball, swimming a lap in the pool, making a basketball shot, croquet, cornhole, whatever it ends up being officially. We're excited for that, and then after that, we're going to do our draft. It'll be posted on the live, or at least on some type of matter. Now that the Instagram has that new rule, we're working through the kinks with that. But should be a lot of content coming out this upcoming weekend, and it's going to be a big, very big weekend for the community.
Right, so how you feeling for the draft? You got any sleepers or anyone you're looking at in particular? I know you don't need to give away too much, but the big names, if you had to walk away with someone from the first round that you'd be happy with?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, not giving away too much if one of our competitors beat each other. So.
Right.
But, I had one of my drafts just last night and was able to, see Brian Thomas Jr., someone I've got my eyes on this year. Really made an impact last year, and, just someone that, is going to be getting a lot of targets. Trevor Lawrence is going to be throwing him the ball, and I'm just excited for him. I was able to get him somewhere around, 12th, 13th overall. So, in my opinion, he slid a little bit. I think he's got potential to go first round in 12-man drafts.
I think even an 8-man draft.
And an 8-man draft, I think his name should also be popping up at least towards the end of the first round.
At least, I agree. I mean, if someone picked him 6th, I wouldn't say that's a crazy pick.
And I wouldn't say it's a bad pick either. So to be able to get him at 12th, very happy about it. And then I also got, Puka Nakua. Really not sure what the other guys in the league were thinking.
The Nakua in the second round in a 12-man league, that's crazy. I think Nakua is also, even in 8-man, could be a first-round pick as well.
Absolutely. You got a couple of names that popped out before those two guys. I saw Ashton Genty go early this year. I saw Malik Neighbors go before guys like Nakua and Thomas. So, you got to draft with the people that you're playing in the league with.
Right.
They might see something that you don't, but you know some things that they don't. So it's
exactly.
Really kind of draft a team that, works well, guys that guys that you enjoy watching, and, kind of find that balance between, smart picks and, picks that are, players that you're fans of.
Exactly, right, exactly. I mean, yeah, you got to, because sometimes, even if it's like, oh, you don't think the player's that good, but they're good in fantasy. It's something that, there's good fantasy players and there's also good football players, but you need to draft the best fantasy team. You don't need to draft the best football team. So something you got to keep into effect as well. So we like that. That's going to be exciting. Right. I know. I wonder how. Do you have a preferred draft pick? I guess if you won the draft competition, would you say that you want to draft in the middle of the draft, early, later? I don't know. This year is always different depending on the year. What I feel like everyone's thinking.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I think, with our league being 8-man, being PPR, there's really so much opportunities to pick great players, deeper into drafts than you'll see in those 12-man leagues.
Exactly.
In our league, we've seen great players stem from the 7th, 8th round. And that's not crazy at all because, there's so much uncertainty going into every year, especially with rookies and different players playing in different teams, You have no really idea where it's going to go, and especially with the guys that are picking in our league, we do it offline, so you're not getting that consistent update of who ESPN thinks is the best. Guys are forgotten about.
100%.
There have been times where people have completely forgot about a name, or they've gone to draft someone that they're like, oh, he's got to be gone. They didn't even check to see if he's actually already up there on the board. So I think it's something that, to note going into our draft, that you want to have an idea of, making sure that there's no one slipping through the cracks, especially in that 3rd or 4th round. When you don't really know if they're even available anymore, make sure you're keeping an eye on the board because there's a lot of times we've seen great players slip.
100%. And it goes with that is people they don't have the list right in front of them, so they start reaching on guys too. So it's like where a guy that ranked, that could go in the 5th or the 6th round, but they're like, oh, I need to get him now in the 2nd or the 3rd, and everyone's like, what was that? But they're like, oh, I needed to get him now. They didn't realize what was going on. So that's also something else. It's funny to see, but it is the offline draft is definitely it's way different than doing it on your phone with the ESPN app right in front of you.
Absolutely, and it's crazy that you mentioned that because there are guys that do that, like Luke, just like most recently drafting guys like Deebo Samuel in the 2nd. Reminded me of maybe something like Kevin Costner pulling a sticky note out of his pocket saying no matter what, dude, you gotta play the draft as the draft plays out, and to fully go back and answer your question there, I'm thinking an early draft pick is always better in this type of league just because you get one of those solidified guys.
Players,
you might get the Jamar Chase. You might get the Justin Jefferson, guys that are very, very unlikely to flop. Whereas you're towards the end of the round, you got to start thinking about if McCaffrey's worth the risk. You got to start thinking about do I want to roll the dice on Genty? Is Malik Neighbors going to sophomore slump or is going to run back?
And who's the quarterback there?
Who's going to be throwing him the ball?
Right. I mean, could change halfway through the year.
Exactly. If Jameis Winston's throwing him the ball, I really like that pick because he's going to air it out. And,
they throw a lot.
If Jameis Winston's throwing a pick, that's not negative points for Neighbors. So
exactly, that's very true. Yeah, Russell Wilson's not going to. He's way more cautious than that, which we don't need Russell that in fantasy.
That is quite the quarterback room that Daboll's got to deal with there in New York. Yeah. I'm just not sure how it's going to end up shaping out.
Right, we'll see. We'll have to see. That'll be interesting. But it's funny you touched on all the Luke draft picks. We've had some Brady had some questionable ones as well, and that's why we always tend to see those two guys, like you said, in the Sacco a lot. So that's something we'll keep an eye on this year. I know it's hard to predict, but you think obviously you're going to have the best draft, or you have anyone else in mind you think's going to do well this year?
Yeah, so of course I'll obviously put myself first, but excluding myself from the conversation, you've always had great drafts in years past. I've always been impressed with Jake Hannon's draft, Team Jake. Someone that always kind of surprises me with the way he picks is Liam Kaiser. He's the owner and manager of Shake and Bake. He does have a title as well, and he's just someone that kind of drafts guys that he'll pick that Philly wide receiver. He's got ties with Philadelphia, but other than that, he ends up with a very similar team. every single
They
year, and
stay
he's always
steady.
very sneaky, and they never suck. Shake and Bake has
No.
almost never sucked, and what they always do, they're always around that 4 or 5 spot. Come those weeks leading into the playoffs, he's always
Yep.
like in a crunch. So I'm excited to see how Liam drafts this year. I got high hopes for Liam.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. I know he's had some couple years of struggling, but he does have that one ring a couple years back. So we'll see what he has in him. Oh yeah, like you said,
Absolutely.
Jake as well. Jake has had a lot of second place finishes, but he always seems to be in the playoffs, finishing and getting there. But he's just never won the big one. So we'll
Exactly.
see. We'll see. Yeah.
Right. So, and just gonna say, so with question right back at you with that, taking yourself out of it, not even looking forward. Let's look back a little bit. Taking yourself out of it. Who do you think has been taking yourself and Alex Shaheen out of it? Of course. Who's someone that's really impressed you over the years, and then who's someone that you're really hoping to see more out of as time goes on?
I'd say impress. I mean, I'll start with this. I think to impress me, you have to have a ring. So I'm sorry to Jake, but he's had some good seasons, but I can't be totally impressed with him. If I have to take myself out of it, I obviously include you. You have had the best individual season of FBGM history, and that's taking out of Alex. Even with Alex involved, you still have the best season in FBGM history. So I would say you would be there, and then someone I'd like to see a little bit more out of would probably be Riley, because I will say he has his ring, but it wasn't the the tainted 6-man playoff. When 6 out of 8 teams make the playoffs, I don't even know if you can call that a real playoff. Yeah. So I will say that I'd like to see a little bit more out of him. He drafts, and he usually drafts. I guess you think he drafts pretty well, but then you go and look at his teams, and you're like, how are they not winning as many games? Or he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room sometimes, making these out there picks. But sometimes it paid off one year, but we'll see. Last couple of years, it's been a little bit more rocky, I'll say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's a great name that you brought up there. Riley loves the end of the first round type pick. He usually wants to be picking around 7, 8, 6, and he likes that loop around. He ends up picking a lot of guys. He always has Lions on his team, which
I was going to say, he's going to do. I don't know if he
lot.
can get the Lions this year, right?
Right. I want to say
I think Gibbs is going to go high. Amon-Ra's going to go high.
Exactly.
But yeah, he does love his Lions. You're right.
Right, and every league goes through highs and lows, ups and downs, and to become a perfect league, you have to go through the downs. The 6-man playoff, that's on me, and I have an argument.
I was the ringleader of that, pushing for that, and it didn't even help me. I wasn't even good. But that was really, a one year thing we had.
Yeah, no, and it leaves a sour taste in my mouth because my team was incredible that year. I ended up losing to King Riles in a very close, 1 week matchup. That ended up being a 1 week matchup in the playoffs. So you live and you learn as commissioner of this league, and I'm glad that we are able to work together. Make sure that we didn't continue
it won't
to
happen
do that
again,
because it really, it threw a wrench in that year. But still hats off to Riles for his ring.
He got it done,
Rather be him than Jake. Jake's got one of the best regular season records out there, but cannot get it done.
It's crazy. Some say it's the Dominic Hadley curse, but we'll see.
Yep, and that's why Dominic Hadley remains on the wall of shame here.
Right. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get off unless Jake wins a ring. Maybe, who knows? That'll break the curse.
Yeah, exactly. So. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good year here at FBGM.
I agree.
I'm excited to break down these weeks with you, man. And,
it'll be fun. I will
really
say
I
had some inside info about Brady's golf skills, and I heard that maybe you rigged the rankings. I heard Brady was better than what people have been saying.
Hey, I'm always open to mix things back up. I want everyone to feel that everything that I do as a commissioner is completely fair at all times. I'm happy to go out there and
we were at Travis's, and Riley was like, "Oh, Brady's pretty good. Whose team is he on?" And I was like, "Oh, he's with Mickey." And he's like, "Oh, he must have cooked that one up." And then I was like, he didn't even know how good he was. But that's all.
Well,
I
can pull the receipts from texting Riley asking how good Brady is.
Yeah, he claimed. I don't know.
I texted Riley the day I was making teams. I was like, "Do you know how good Brady is? I don't know where he's should be slotted in the rankings to make fair teams for this." I ended up taking him because of the amount of uncertainty there was.
I think it makes sense. I mean, you and Liam I'm with Liam. I think Liam and you are probably, like you said, 2 and 3. Who knows what the order is there? And then me, I guess Alex is probably the worst. He doesn't even have a pair of clubs. And then Riley and Luke are the obvious choice in the middle, and then Jake's the best. So I think it all evens out, and then like you said, separate us for keep it going and keep the content flowing. So I think that's you made them well. I'll just say that
we try our best, man. So I'll have to take that up with Riley myself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he said. Yeah,
if he wants Brady, I'll take Luke all day. Luke can strike the ball. It's just a question of where it's
going. Right, exactly. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I will say, be tuned in for that video because you should have some good content coming out of that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm excited. All right,
man.